I actually really happy of being a Janda. I mean, like being Janda for me is like a blessing in disguise
Mhm.
because by being single, I actually can work for myself with myself,
Okay.
and it's just amazing. You can just empower yourself, and then there's just so much energy that you can create out of that.
Our guest today is a new friend to the show, Nina Karina Nikicio. Her name is
Yes.
as beautiful as the woman that you see today, and
Oh, thank you.
she is a holistic health coach. And a lot of that is from having learned a little bit more about Nina. Is that is part of her own personal journey of having learned about what is holistic living and what is not holistic living. There is always a way that we can adapt our lifestyle to the needs that are constantly changing. And I think that's part of what holistic learning means for, or holistic living is, and it's just adapting to our changing needs. And there's always a better way of doing something. Can you share with us for some of the recent jandas or the new jandas out there? What would be so good for them? Like, what's like the one thing that they should like immediately do so that they could feel energized and feel like they can take reign of their lives back to like optimum performance?
Okay, first of all, I would like to say thank you for explaining holistic living so beautifully. I mean, I couldn't, I mean, I can't explain it anymore. You take the words out of me. I should use that. And for,
Well, I'm
and
glad.
answering your answering your question about gender out there who would like to, take to recharge or empower themselves and rewrite their stories, for example. I think the first thing that I would suggest is do the work within, like just heal yourself first. I think kalau for me, I actually really happy of being a Janda. I mean, like being Janda for me is like a blessing in disguise.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, because by being single, I actually can work for myself with myself,
Okay.
and it's just amazing. You can just empower yourself, and then there's just so much energy that you can create out of that. So
Mm.
just to sit with you and being comfortable with who you are, I think that's just, sounds so simple and sounds like nothing sometimes, but it's actually very empowering.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for me, I definitely understand what that's all about because a lot of the time, I don't know if it was for you, but in marriage, you have to play a different role, and sometimes that role that you're playing as a housewife or someone's partner can really start to erode your personal identity to sort of
Mhm,
suit the needs of being in a marriage, which is what marriage is. A lot of it is a lot of a compromising, and that's not
mhm,
necessarily a bad thing, but
mhm,
it can be devastating when you don't have room to also be yourself in that marriage.
mhm,
And when there is intimidation, when there's emotional abuse, when there is physical abuse, when there is
mhm,
financial abuse, and
mhm,
that's the ridiculous demands that are expected out of a housewife, out of a spouse,
mhm, mhm,
that out of a mother, um, out of a
mhm.
working mom or stay-at-home mom. There's just
Mhm.
so much that is just impossible
Yeah.
expectations, day in, day out, years, on end, that there's no room to replenish. That energy
Mhm,
reserve is so thin that it doesn't even factor how do I how do I become a happy person again? How do I smile, wake up
Mm-mm.
and smile? You know,
Mm-mm.
I have another guest on the podcast. Her name is Freya Coyer, and her you can check. Everyone else who's listening can check back to her episode. And the biggest takeaway from her episode was she said, "We are responsible for our own happiness, and no one else is
Mm-mm.
responsible for our own happiness." But what's so damning, I think,
Mm.
in marriages or people who have been married for too long is that they don't even remember what it
Mm.
is that makes them happy, or there's no room
Mm.
for them to be happy with, they don't have the
Mm.
time to do that. And that's not allowed. There's actually, I would say that the words are, you're not allowed to even make time, make room for yourself. So I can totally understand why you say that being divorced is liberating. It has been for
Yes.
many people. So we're out of our prison now. We're free, we're liberated. We can eat what we want. We can wear
Mm-hmm.
whatever clothing we want. We can
Mm-hmm.
make the money that we want to. We can spend it
Mm-hmm.
how we want to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We can design the future, the life that we want. We can travel wherever we
Yes.
want to go.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, we can be friends with whoever we want to be friends with, and that's
Mm-hmm.
wow. Who is this woman? Who is this woman? Right? I mean, check out Nina.
Right.
Well, I mean, you would think that she's always been such a beautiful, confident, and but if you hear her story from before, there was a time where you feel like you didn't have that room, that light wasn't shine
Yeah.
on you. So
Yeah.
so can you tell me more a little
Right.
bit more about your Janda story? So what happened? How many years were you married? How many kids do you have? For those of us who are
Yeah,
listening, a little bit
sure.
about that before, without it being too kepo, but like give us a backstory. Give us a backstory.
No, of course. Yeah, I actually resonate with you a lot when you say that, there's no room um, for us women when when we are married,
Mm.
especially when we got married with the wrong person, and and become a toxic relationship. And what you said about we are responsible for our own happiness, but when we are so when we are so apa ya terkukung gitu in our life, and we are not able to see, okay, not able to feel grateful, we're not able to we're running very thinly on on this gas. Kalau misalnya mobil gitu ya, kita tuh udah kayak very low energy gitu. Terus
Lampunya udah nyala ya, lampu bensinnya udah
iya.
nyala. Udah kosong, Bu.
Udah kosong nih Bu gitu, terus itu diisinya juga seadanya aja gitu, kayak pakai ya udahlah bensin apapun gitu kan.
Isinya
Nah,
udah
jadi karena
seadanya.
ya udah isinya udah seadanya, udah kayak ya udahlah asal jalan gitu kan, asal jalan udah kepepet nih gitu. Because we always make time. I think as women, soalnya kita tuh selalu kayak we need to take care of others. I think that's in our nature. Jadi, tapi waktu we take care so much of others and we don't take care of ourselves, makanya nggak bisa tuh. Makanya we don't feel beautiful, we don't feel confident, we don't feel, all the things that a woman should feel. And so I resonate a lot with that. Um, and to answer your questions, jadi dulu itu I was married for 5 years before I decided to, what, I need to get divorced. I need to get out from the relationship, from my marriage, because I got married because I got pregnant. I got so I got pregnant, and then the family said this, that, and then you know what? Okay, fine, let's get married. And plus, as well, um I got abortion before, for like 3 times, and I didn't think much of it. I didn't, because I didn't believe in myself as much. But him, my ex-husband, he persuaded me and he said, you know what, don't abort this one. Let's just get married and, be together and we can, be better together. And I
Mm,
believed him. I mean, like, that sounds like a wonderful, wonderful Cinderella story, right?
mm,
So then I did. So we got married. I had a daughter. And then, for a while, um, it seemed like, we had a beautiful life together. But then as my daughter got older, till like, 1.5 years old, and then I see that, that things aren't working so very well between us. And what I did was, oh, probably in the back of my head, I was like, oh, probably, if I had another kid, so, things will get better. Because when we
mm.
had a kid
Okay.
before, the things were fantastic. So I got pregnant again, and I had another son. I had a son, tapi the marriage didn't work. Obviously, because not a kid, not a new car, not whatever, not a new house that could save a marriage kalau misalnya memang orangnya sendiri dari dua-duanya nggak healing gitu.
Mm,
So as my kid got older, and then fifth year of marriage, and then problems start coming in, all kinds of problems, relationship problems, financial problems. Terus habis itu I didn't feel connected with him. We went for a marriage counseling and whatever, but it didn't work out. And then on top of it all, me myself, I got anxiety attacks over and over again. And one time it was really bad until I feel like I want to kill myself. I just, I want to end this because it was really painful. It was really
wow.
painful on my chest. It feels like this heavy weight is just on my shoulder. I just couldn't take it anymore. But then the image of my kids came to mind, and the voice of my mom actually came to my head as well. I remember her saying that, you cannot die now. If you die now, no one would take care of your kids. So after that, I decided, okay, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I made a choice to just, you know, get better. The next day, I booked a session with a therapist. And then on my way back from the therapist, I found a Pilates studio. Um, so then I signed up. And for those of you who know me, know that I'm the unhealthiest person ever. I never exercise. I ate junk foods all the time. I smoked too, back then. I mean, a pack a day and five cigarettes a day, and then I didn't eat um, dinner. I drink alcohols instead until I passed out. All of these things, even until I had kids. Those kind of lifestyle is just, I was a party cool girl, so
Mm,
I tried to live into that even until I have kids. So for it's actually there's nothing wrong with that if you're true to yourself. But turns out that I was living a lie. I wasn't happy with who I was. I wanted to change. So as I got healthier and I took better care of myself, and I found out that what I need to get out from this toxic relationship as well. So I got divorced. I closed down my company, and then just align with the path which who I am right now. So
mm. What company did you shut down?
it was Nikicio. So I used to have fashion brand where I know clothing from because in fashion industry. I used to have a fashion brand called Nikicio. It was started and founded it in 2008, and I closed it down in January 2019. And
So 10 years.
so yeah, 10 years of
Wow.
I
So
dedicated
that's
my life, whatever, to that company. But yeah.
yeah. So that's a lot of um, ending chapters there. Your marriage
Yep.
ended, your business ended, and
Mm-hmm.
a new chapter began for you. Do you have a new business
Mm-hmm.
now apart from your coaching, or your coaching is set up as a business, or how does that work?
Yeah, my coaching is sort of like now is set up as a business. I'm slowly building that. And I wanted it to be bigger, of course. I mean, but I actually now I don't see money as I used to do. Before
Okay.
too with Nikicio with my company, I wanted to just work, and and how do I find money, and then how do I find my company here and there. But with this, it's very slow, but I feel it's very steady. It's like, this is something that I love doing. This is, helping people. It's giving me much more than just, you know, the money itself. It's very fulfilling.
Mm. So I like that. So what is money to you now?
Um, that's a good question. I never thought of that. But I still see it as important, of course. We need money to, fund our basic necessities. But before, I used to use money to buy my happiness. I used to think that, by having more clothes, branded clothes, having more shoes and bags, and, putting my kids in, designer clothes, and, having a full, well running company, which needs a lot of money. Um, and also having the latest gadget or whatever, it's for me, I'm trying to buy myself, you know to get into that happiness level. But now it's not so much. I found out that, I think it's because of the pandemic as well. But as I got healthier, I found out that, yes, you need money for your basic necessities thing. I need money to, buy my organic food. I just swapped that. And turns out, having um, organic food and cooking my own food and for the kids, that's more than enough. You don't need to buy them, all of this flashy toys or, branded designer things. And turns out they're happy with the presence of you, and you taking care of yourself, and you
Okay.
are taking care of them.
Yeah. Well, and also you're setting an example to your children about what is a healthy living lifestyle. And it's
Mhm.
easier for them to, when you say, "Oh, eat your veggies," but if you don't eat your veggies, and or they don't see
No, it doesn't
how
work like
great
that.
you
Yeah.
feel, how great you feel when you exercise, when you have enough rest,
Hmm.
and when you're kind to others, then it becomes
Hmm.
easier for them to sort of mimic and duplicate, and
Hmm.
having a real role model in that sense, in that regard. And that comes with time. I mean, yeah, nothing's easy, obviously. So
Hmm.
would you say, how long did it take that transformation? Did that transformation happen before the divorce or right after the divorce? How, when was that sort of that change from the junk food eating to more thinking about, oh, is this organic, or is what is this doing to my body? Like, when did that light switch happen for you?
I think mine is just built out of, little by little. Like when I told you earlier about I'm signing up for therapy, so it turns out that, so all levels of my happiness or the joy in my life was really low. Levels of health. So, I always say that health came from, other than food. Food is our secondary, but our primary food should be our spirituality, physical exercise, relationship, career, finance, and all of that was actually quite low. It's very low. So like you say, we were running to ya bensin apa aja lah, peti jalan udah mepet nih gitu. So when I started to take care of my spirituality area by going to therapy and then going to exercise once a week back then for Pilates, itu um, so in my body there's like because you take care of yourself better, and then it's lights up a switch. It's like a domino effect. Jadi kayak abis itu terus and then I start to think kayak yang oh yeah, what else do I need to do in order to make myself feel better. And then the third one that happens then is in relationship area. I know that me and my ex-husband, even though now that we are in a very good term, we are co-parenting now, but back then and even now, I realize that we are not fit to be a couple. We are better off as friends.
Mm,
um
good.
so yeah, so I say that what, I need to get a divorce. And then after I got divorced, and then I became to because before I used to eat breakfast with my ex, and what he wanted was not to have breakfast, or easy breakfast such as chicken nuggets, and which was something that I liked before. Jadi ya udah, tapi because he wasn't in the picture anymore, and I could took better care of myself. So then I started to make salads for breakfast. And then after eating salads for breakfast, and then I was like, hey, what does this salad do for my body? And then my followers started to ask kayak kenyang gak sih makan salad doang atau apa gitu. And then I started to think about the nutrition. And then I signed up for nutrition science course. And then after that, and then knowledge, and then education was a part of your primary food. So then and then after that, I also signed up for barre class. Jadi physical exercise-nya lebih intens lagi. Terus habis itu I started to sign up for meditation, and then I get more connected with my kids now because there's a need to feel. And then I closed down my company. All those is like a domino effect, like I said. And then I quit smoking. Now I actually 2 months sober. On my third month now that I haven't drank alcohol, which is amazing.
Oh,
I never thought that I
congratulations.
could do that. Yeah, I
Congratulations.
never thought I could do that. So it's just like little by little, and things happen. Beautiful things, amazing things happen when you start taking care of yourself.
Wow. Okay. So I would call that a total transformation, even though that transformation took years,
Yeah,
because there were
3 years.
many steps to that. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was very interesting the way that you laid out that, the day that you felt like, oh gosh, this is just too much. And the next day you booked a session for therapy, and also you found Pilates, which was the sort of
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of your exercise routine and
Mm-hmm.
making exercise part of your life. And
Mm-hmm.
I like how you point out that there's primary food groups that we need, and that's not just actual food, but it's the relationships and how we educate
Mm-hmm.
ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're a big reader. What book would
Mm-hmm.
you hand out to somebody who is just a recent Janda or somebody who's going through a lot of heavy things right now? Um, if there's one book that you would recommend that they read, what would that be?
I think I would say Care Package by Sylvester McNut.
Was it
Um,
called again? Can you repeat that?
it's called Care Package.
Care Package.
Yes, by Sylvester McNut, if I'm not wrong. Book is the total care package is just it's just amazing. It just if you're going to heal, especially through the toughest time in your life, I think
Hmm.
this is the absolute book that you should read. It has like little quotes that you can resonate to, And he also tell his own story very beautifully, and how like it's just step by step of how you heal throughout your life. I mean, when you make that choice to heal, I think this is the best book to start with.
Mhm. I will put that in the show notes so that people can go find that book. So that was one of your recommendation. And
Hmm.
something else that you would like to leave with our listener, if there's any advice that you'd like to give them.
I think most people would know this, but I also have like a few followers that would ask me like, how do you deal with being a janda gitu? How do you take courage? Maksudnya courage-nya dari mana gitu? Kok bisa sih jadi janda? You know, you have like this so many stigmas around it.
Right.
You have so many judgments around it as well. And then how do you deal with it? And then I say, you know, when you know that that's a decision that you make for you, because you know you made that decision because you need to take care of yourself and you need to prioritize yourself first, then you just know you will find that courage, you will find that, you know, that feeling of, you know, I'm gonna do this, and you would heck care about what other people think or say, because you know you're living in your alignment and this is what you're meant to be doing, because we need to listen to what our soul is saying.
Wonderful. That's beautiful. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think I don't like to use that term self love too much because it's sort of drowned and it's a little bit watered down, I think, in terms of the message. But
Mhm.
definitely learning to identify our needs and understanding
Mhm.
ourselves, being
Mhm.
patient with ourselves is definitely, I think, the hardest part with that courage to become a Janda probably is just being patient. One parting question that I want to ask for you is
Mhm.
about dating. Have you started dating again?
For me, it didn't work very well because I wasn't ready for it. I was just looking for a quick fix. Like you said, we need to be patient with ourselves. And what when I started dating again, knew I was just looking for approval. That, you know, knowing that I'm wanted. You know, even though I'm janda, I'm wanted nih gitu. When it became, you know, another toxic, and you know, and I was again found myself in position where I have to feel less than. Then I decided, you know what? No, I'm just gonna put a stop on this. I'm not gonna date
Mm.
until I feel ready for it. Until I know that, you know what? Yes, I'm gonna date. And I believe then the universe, God, or whatever you would like to call it, will align me with someone that would, you know, um, they would help me and would actually just to be with me, and you know, because um, they would gimana ya, kayak ngelihat aku kayak apa adanya gitu, kayak you know, accept me for who I am. And I think acceptance is like a big keyword here, um, because you know, yeah.
Well, there's a
Yeah.
lot there. I mean, that's very honest.
Mm-hmm.
You've been very honest about everything, and I think that honesty is not just outward but also inward. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the message of what you're trying to say is like you have to be that honest about why you're doing everything. Why are you eating this food? Why are you in this relationship? Why are you in this house? Why do you have the clothes that you have? Or, who are your
Mm-hmm.
friends with? Why do you read that book or why do you listen to that podcast? It's that level of honesty of like, how does this serve me? And how do I serve
Mm-hmm.
others from having this input? So it goes two ways. And y- your tank isn't full yet, is basically what you're saying.
No. Oh
She's
yeah.
refueling everybody. So once that's refueled, one lucky fella will be all too happy to be introduced to you. I'm very sure of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fantastic. Nina, I can't wait to finally meet you one day in person. How do people find you, or like, how do they get into part of like Nina's world? Like, what is it, a part I've already mentioned about your Instagram, like, which I
Mm-hmm.
diligently have been stalking you on, but how else can they
Oh.
learn more about the things that you're doing?
Other than Instagram, at the moment, I don't have much time for anything else.
Okay.
So the only way to connect with me now is through Instagram. And if you want to be coach, you want to be, the best version of yourself, and you feel stuck and you want to get out of it, you can DM me through Instagram, and then I'll just take it from there. Honestly, Instagram is the only way to find me at the moment because I haven't had time for everything else. And you say to be patient, right? And let's just build my business step by step.
Mm. All right, Nina, thank you so much for everything. Goodbye for now.
Hey, have you subscribed yet? If you haven't, please do. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and share it with the ones you love. All right. See you in the next episode.